Down a long hallway. Again, this is like a prison theme. This is something that you can do tonight. It starts at 7 o'clock tonight and runs through midnight. It's every day through Halloween.
No, he should be going.
No. You guys are going first. Here.
No, it's too dark. I don't like it. Oh my God! Come on, you have to help me get out of here. Oh my God, we gotta help her. You have a key, don't you?
What?
Find the key.
What do you need?
You're supposed to get me out of here. We need to find the key. Come on.
Where's the key? Oh, look at over here. All right, what's going through your mind?
I don't know. I'm really nervous. I'm freaking out. What is coming towards us?
He's really tall. He's really tall. He's really tall.
Okay, no. Okay. Okay.
Oh my God, it's touching me. It's touching me. It's touching me. No. I can't do it. I don't know.
Where do we go? Where do we go? Here.
The angel has been taken.
Oh my God,
You burned to a child that has been taken.
Oh, back to you guys. This is not cool. This is not cool.
Oh my gosh. You know what he's really worried about? He's worried that guy's going to touch his hair.
I feel kind of bad for him.
I know.
I really do.
I know.
Goes hard. Shut up. No. There's Misery Manor, Butcher's Barn, and of course the Frights. No, this is all Horror Hall. Oh boy. Alright, I'm right here. Okay. Right here, Ronnie. Alrighty. Okay, you can't really see anything, but
Hey, what are you doing?
there's nothing yet, and we're already.
Hold on now. Hey, I'm practicing.
Come on. I can't see where
so we don't get separated?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, no. You can't see.
Okay, well, I want to get out of here.
Can I turn the flash on?
No, what are you doing?
What? Come on, the flash would be so much better. Come on. Okay, Logan. Come on, now. Come on. I can't see. Oh, turn the light. Flashlight. You turn the flashlight on. Ooh. There you go. We don't want to step in a hole. Yeah, and I've already fell a few times.
What, baby?
This was a mistake.
Okay, it's okay, baby.
Come on,
Hold
on now. We got this. We're going down here. We got this.
Please don't.
It's all right.
I bet this is not as scary as the house.
Can't really get. Yeah, it probably isn't.
I'm scared now. I think my pump is still hot, y'all.
Yeah. Oh my God, now ain't the time. Oh my God!
Listen to the man. He said turn that light off.
Screw you! Did he?
Yeah. Boy, you watch out.
Oh my gosh. That's me. Oh my gosh, I'm in the river. Ah!
This way. What the go?
Wait, what?
What Logan go first?
Thank you.
Logan, you need to go first.
Please stop.
Mom's gonna go and be first.
Turn the light out, please.
Guys, we can't really show much, but it's happening.
Low-key, keep it softly spoken, with no strings tying you to me. I'm happy in your company with no emotion, 'cause my love deserves to be free. I never wanna look at a house in the garden, I never wanna lock you down.
Just screwing with me. So about 2 minutes. When I was in high school, I had a lot of these experiences. At the house my dad lived in at the time, it was really old. Built in the early 1800s, there were plenty of times I'd be sitting in the living room and distinctly hear the cabinets opening and closing in the kitchen. It was just me and my dad that lived in the house, and you could clearly see when his bedroom door was shut and he was asleep, but still hear it. Normally, my dad worked 7-3, but occasionally worked a power overnight shift. One night, he was working until 11. I was 17 at the time. Around 8 or so, I'm sitting in my room playing Borderlands and think I hear footsteps coming from the living room, which was adjacent to my bedroom, and assume my dad's home early. Go back to playing Borderlands. I keep hearing the steps, so I pause the game and listen, and the footsteps are just slowly pacing back and forth between the living room and the kitchen in a steady rhythm. I laid in bed scared and actually counted the steps. Every time it took 15 paces to the living room, 15 back to the kitchen. Had another situation at my mom's house. About 2 years prior to this, out of nowhere, my alarm clock would go off at midnight every night. I assumed it was busted and got rid of it. Some didn't. Fast forward 2 years, my mom gets another brand new alarm clock for my room, also when I was 17. Suddenly, alarm goes off at midnight. I thought nothing of it. Turned it off. Happened again the next night, and then my sister pointed out the old one I had that did it. So I checked and made SURE, no alarms were set. Double checked at 11:56. Sure enough, 4 minutes later my alarm goes off. Freaked out, I threw it out. That next night was my dad's night to have me. I had a buddy of mine over, and my dad was working that night. He left for work around 2 a.m., and my friend had brought over an iPod dock to listen to music on. Didn't have the clock set or anything. My friend knew nothing of the last couple nights, so I knew he wasn't just screwing with me. So about 2 minutes after my dad leaves, we hear an alarm clock coming from my room. I went in, and you know how if you just plug in a clock without setting it, the numbers just blink on and off. Well, it was doing that. As soon as I picked it up, the clock set itself to 12 Azro and then just turned off by itself. Me and my friend laid down, then all of a sudden the alarm goes off again. I turn and look, and it is these weird looking letters that says get out. I had enough of this and ran downstairs. The minute I took my left foot off the steps, all the clock alarms in the house went off. The clock hands on the wall were spinning, and then all of a sudden the cabinet doors start opening and shutting, slamming back and forth louder and louder and louder. I ran outside, and then the door behind me slammed. I turned around, and the noise got louder and louder. The lights started flickering as well, and the curtains opening and shutting. I had nowhere else to go. My friend was stuck inside the house with no way to get her out. I slept on a bus bench that night, and the next morning I woke up in the hospital. I had fallen and hit my head in the middle of the night off the bus bench. Nobody found my friend, and I never stepped foot in that house again.
Welcome to Monstober Spooktacular. Unfortunately, due to technical difficulties, we had to abbreviate to a different thing. So what you just saw was Funtime Channel going through Horror at the Hollow, and now we are watching a monstrous performance of the Roar Brooklyn, their Bad show. Drum Major Logan Bishop, and the soloist on Bad is Drew Walker. And Bad Romance, and Bad Guy. I hope you enjoy. More monstrous things come.
You can't say it's good about it.
Let's have a round of applause for Drew Walker. ladies and gentlemen, the Roar of Brooklyn.
The Roar of Brooklyn. Their monsters performance from last night. Now, let's look at this. We've had 3 Monstober theaters, 1 new Monstober song, and 1 good-looking music video. Let's go ahead and look at that music video that was uploaded October 1st, the first day Monstober started.
Oh, another Funtime Channel Monstober video. I hope you don't get too scared and tune in. Calling all the monsters, calling all the monsters, I'm calling all, I'm calling all, I'm calling all the monsters. Hey, yo, hey, yo, oh, hey, yo, hey, hey, hard thumbs and you jump, coming down with goosebumps. You dare to go there? I'ma get you so scared. We're haunting you, we're wanting you, we're haunting you. Hey, hey, if you stayed too late to be getting afraid, this scene extreme, I'ma get you so scared. I'm haunting you, they're wanting you, they're wanting to. Hey, hey, gonna get your body shaking, wishing you could just awake. Here we go. Tonight all the monsters gonna dance, coming to get ya. Tonight all the monsters gonna dance, they're coming to get ya. If you're only dreaming, why I hear you screaming. Tonight all the monsters gonna dance, we're coming to get ya. Calling all the monsters, I'm calling all the monsters, I'm calling all, I'm calling all, I'm calling all the monsters. You hide or you try, kiss tomorrow goodbye. We thrill your chill, bucking for freedom. You wanting to, we're haunting you, we're wanting to. And we might just fly underneath the moonlight. More fun if you run, I'm already chasing. Wanting to, we're haunting you, we're wanting to. And gonna get your body shaking, wishing you could just awake. Here we go. Tonight all the monsters gonna dance, we're coming to get ya. Tonight all the monsters gonna dance, we're coming to get ya. If you're only dreaming, why I hear you screaming. Tonight all the monsters gonna dance, we're coming to get ya. Calling all the monsters, I'm calling all the monsters, I'm calling all, I'm calling all, I'm calling all the monsters. Putting pain and rid inside your head, like a demon choir, playing with fire, fire, fire. Gonna get your body shaking, wishing you could just awake. Here we go. Tonight all the monsters gonna dance, we're coming to get ya. Tonight all the monsters gonna dance, we're coming to get ya. If you're only dreaming, why I hear you screaming. Tonight all the monsters gonna dance, we're coming to get ya. Hey, oh, hey, oh, coming to get you.
Next up, Monstober Theater 2, The Whispers.
This is a story I do not often tell. I promise sincerely, that this has scarred me for life, and although I have looked into psychological explanations for what I heard and natural explanations for what occurred, they remain unsatisfactory.
When I was a child, I was scared of the dark. I swore to my mother I heard voices in it. They were not evil, but they were not familiar, and so they scared me. It was not uncommon in the middle of the night for me to wake up and hear whispers, as I would call them when asking my mom. She figured they were just bumps in the night, and typical kids' nightmare material. I tried often to explain to her that it was more than that they sounded different from one another the way people's voices do. On some nights, I would get so scared from these whispers that I would sleep in my mom's bed with her. It was an added bonus that the bathroom was directly outside of her bedroom door for my late night tinkles. I should add at this point that when walking out into the hall to go to the bathroom, you look directly down the stairs that would lead you into my living room on the first floor, as my mom's bedroom was on the second floor. On one such night, around Christmas, I awoke and felt the need to relieve myself. I walked out from the door and distinctly heard the phrase "look," and to my astonishment, a red light, almost like a spotlight, was cast upon the wall at the very bottom of the stairs. The light had no other source. It was by itself, and I was transfixed by it. Being a little kid, and it only being a few days from Christmas, I K-N-E-W what this light was. I T-W-A-S-S-A-N-T-A. How else could he get into my house to know I was being a good boy? I was so excited, I began walking down the stairs to greet him, picking up my pace after the second step as it began to creep off the wall and fade into the darkness in my living room. That's when I heard him. A very strong, masculine voice, different from the first. Not at all like my father's, not to say it isn't masculine. It was just distinctly different. It said, "Stop, right now. Go back up those stairs." I listened, turned around, and what happened next I am not sure I would believe if someone had told me this same story. After reaching the top of the stairs, I heard a very loud C-O-A-S-H that sent me running back to my mother's bed, where I jumped straight under the covers and stayed there the whole night. When we awoke the next morning, the poinsettia lights, little Christmas flower lights that glowed red my mother had put on the railing down the stairs, were pulled straight down to the bottom of the stairs, some broken from what seemed like a forceful tear, laying in a single pile. The dress sink in my living room had fallen from the wall. My mother could not explain it. My father was worried we had been the victims of a home invasion. My sister was crying. There was nothing missing. Nobody had broken in. There did not seem to be any reason this had happened. And then I saw it, and I kept quiet about it because I was so afraid that I could not force words out of my mouth. There, on the edge of the wooden dry sink, which had been facing up, were 3 indentations where the finish on the wood had been worn, almost as if in a forceful grip. Something down there had G-R-A-B-B-D-I-T-A and D-T-H-O-W-I-T-D-O-W-N. That was what the bang was. I was mortified. After that day, I never heard a single voice again. I do not like to imagine what was waiting downstairs for me that night, if it was anything at all, but I can tell you that the reality was that something had physically acted upon 2 things in my house near the bottom of that stairwell. After this, I had never heard another whisper again, which is sad, because in some ways I would have liked to thank the masculine energy that had stopped me from going down those stairs. This happened when I was 7. I am 20 years old now, and because of this incident I am still afraid of the dark. ESPECIALL with shadowy stairwells.
Now we're going to take a look at the first ever Monstober Theater. The Whisper. Don't sell my house.
Life seemed perfect to Mark when the widower brought his new bride Lissa home to the lovely two-story cottage he had built for his deceased first wife. Things were very happy for about a year, and Mark was ecstatic when he learned Lissa was expecting twins. The house was rather small for a double addition to the family, so Mark and Lissa put the cottage up for sale and started searching for a bigger house. That's when the problems began. Suddenly, the cottage would be filled with the distinct smell of expensive perfume. The first time Mark smelled it, he turned pale and told Lissa that it was the scent his dead wife had favored. Then furniture that Lissa had rearranged moved back to its original place. The books in Mark's study were taken out of their categories and put in alphabetical order, the way his former wife had kept them. The ghost of Mark's first wife had returned to the little cottage. But why now? A full year after he had remarried. One afternoon, Lissa was down in the basement doing laundry while Mark was out front discussing the sale of the cottage with their attorney. They had just received a generous bid on the house and had decided to accept it. When Lissa finished emptying the washing machine, she turned to go back upstairs and saw a young woman floating a foot above the staircase. "This is my house. Don't sell my house," the woman said, her pretty face transformed with rage. She shook her fist at Lissa. Lissa shrieked, dropped the basket of wet laundry, and ran outside, slamming the basement door behind her. Lissa locked it and sat down on the lawn, gasping for breath. All at once, the basement door started shaking violently, as if someone were pushing against it. "Don't sell my house," the phantom exclaimed again, shaking the door. "If you sell my house, something terrible will happen to your family. Don't sell my house." The roar of a car engine pierced the ghost's words, as the attorney bade Mark goodbye and drove away. Immediately, the shaking and pounding ceased, as if the departure of the hated real estate attorney had momentarily appeased the ghost. When Lissa described the ghost, Mark recognized her as his dead wife. Until then, he had forgotten that he promised his first wife that he would never sell the cottage. Mark and Lissa tried to appease the ghost by bringing in a priest to pray over the cottage, but the house continued to be filled with the choking smell of expensive perfume. Lissa was afraid for her unborn babies, living in such a haunted atmosphere. After much discussion, Mark and Lissa decided to defy the phantom and sell the cottage. On the night following the family's move, Lissa was struck with a terrible pain in her abdomen. Mark rushed her to the hospital, where she gave birth to the twins, who were stillborn. On his way home from the hospital, Mark's car was struck by a truck, and he was killed instantly. At the same moment, Lissa sat bolt upright in her hospital bed. Staring at an empty corner of the room, she screamed once in terror at the sight of the phantom floating before her eyes. Then she died instantly from a brain aneurysm.
Grammarly does more than catch errors. With Grammarly, you can find really good.
Normally, around this time of year, I send my writer in my to.
Hi, Ellen. We're at the Queen Mary's Dark Harbor, and Andy and I are about to go through the circus maze.
It's called the circus maze.
Are you ready?
We're good.
Okay. Andy, you have to go first. Oh, no! I don't want to do this! I don't like this! Andy!
It's fine. We're good.
Andy?
We're good.
I don't like this one. Andy, I don't like
it's
this.
It's just Maris.
No! No! I can say it!
It's fine. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny. honestly, just it's funny. Funny, okay.
It's mine! It's mine!
Right,
Listen, oh my God, we're being attacked!
I got it. Wait, mirrors. Got it.
Andy, go, go. Andy, go.
Is this not? So, hi. Just, how much? Hi. Okay. Once I see him, once you see him, it's not bad. It's the. Are we? Is this the right way? Okay. I see you. I know you're there. Damn it. Slow.
Stop.
It's so.
Hold on 1 minute. We're good. We got it.
Once they're out.
Stop. Stop. Stop.
I see it. Stop! We saw you!
Okay.
Do you know where you're going?
No, I don't, because I don't.
Stop with the noise! Oh God, okay. Okay, no, I see you. We're good, I'm good. Okay. Got it, I saw you. Good. Good work. Where am I going? We're in a circle!
Andy!
Just... That's it? We're good? I did it. Okay! Stop it, you weirdo! Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, we'll be right back with Allison Sweeney.
Don't know if you love me. Some days you're the only thing I know. Only thing that's burning when the nights grow cold. Can't look away, can't look away. Beg you to stay, yeah. Sometimes you're a stranger in my bed. Don't know if you love me or you want me dead. Push me away, then beg me to stay, yeah. Call me in the morning to apologize. Every little lie gives me butterflies. Something in the way you're looking through my eyes. Don't know if they're gonna make it out alive. Fight so dirty, but your love so sweet. Talk so pretty, but your heart deep. Late night devil, put your hands on me. Never, 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 ever let go. Blood on my shirt.
that was that. Now, let's look at something frightening. We have went through some crazy things this 2020.
With Freedom Unlimited, you can earn 3% at drugstores.
Hey, are you joking or not?
I'm giving you real
this 20 instead of Halloween, that it's 2020. So here is a haunted house
with core power.
At T-Mobile, we believe you should get more. That's why we merged with Sprint.
cervical cancer.
Heavy periods.
Breast cancer.
My producer Andy hates haunted houses, so every year
Ellen, here with Tiffany Haddish, movie star.
I'm protecting myself.
Okay, it never starts right away. We're good. They do the, yeah. And here's the other thing, they do a lot of decoys. So you'll look at something and go, oh, that must be. Well, that's not a good example. Oh, there's mirrors. Mirrors can sometimes be deceptive. Oh, this is what they do, they make you wait. You don't scream unless it's something.
Something's coming.
You're good. Just go. No, see, that's what I'm talking about. That's a distraction, so expect this. That's not real. Not real.
No, it's real. It's real.
It's not
That's
real. It's not. It's
That's
distraction. It's not a person. You knew it. Okay, so keep moving. Keep moving.
It's right there.
Where? Stop. You can't panic about everything. Look, he's got to stop. One time you get to do it. That's. Come on, Haddish.
Stop. Tell me when it's over. You know I'm a strong black woman, but if you keep getting behind me like that.
Oh, now it's a whole room. This is where it gets because. Just go. Yeah. No, it's just. And one time, and now time out. Time out. I said time out. You good? We are on a break. Which part of break do you not get? Okay, so we know that they come through glass, so it's not scary. We know you're coming through. What is moving? It's not real. Look, plastic. Not real. Not real. Okay, all right.
Merry Christmas. Okay, look.
And come on, Haddish. Really? You're gonna yell at us? We're good now. We're in a solid wall. Solid wall. Look for decoys. Stop it! Okay.
Ah, damn. We in the crazy people place.
You don't come out when there's light! We see you the whole time, we see both of you. Great performance. But we don't approach me!